Hey, so we're here in Satisfactory. It's an early access game my friend Kevin got me started on, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of the most addicting video games I think I've ever played. Um, yeah, I don't know, it's really doing something to me. I can't stop. We went really hard on our factory design, and I wanted to kind of show it off because I think it's pretty dope. If I can make any claim about it at all, I think it's about as compact a design as you could possibly make in this game. That's probably not true because somebody else could have probably designed something a little better, but I haven't seen anything kind of close to this in the way that we've done it, so I wanted to show it off before the flood of people playing this game did first. Um, Hopefully there's a flood of people playing this game. The developers definitely deserve it. This game already, even in early access, is goddamn awesome. It's incredible. Um, how do we start? I think I'll start. Oh shit! I think I'll start with the storage tower idea that I came up with. We were using just noodling conveyor belts into random storage tanks for a while in the beginning until I was like, no, fuck this. We can do better. The way these work is materials come in from the mines into wherever they're being. This is a constructor that's turning it into concrete, but sometimes it's a smelter, sometimes it's whatever else. And from this material, we have it going in from the bottom, so this isn't a good example. I'll show you the one that was the very first one we built. I'll show you our better example here. This one's kind of isolated, easy to see. This one is the one that's supposed to store our reinforced iron plates, and we're not making them very fast, otherwise these belts will be backed up. We gotta tinker with our production. But they're coming in from where they're being produced, and sorry if the frame rate is bad. This game treats my PC like a fucking bitch. My PC runs everything else just fine, but with these belts moving and everything, I don't know, it just falls apart. I turn view distance down to hopefully alleviate some of the issues, but I don't know. It might still look a little choppy. Starting with the storage tower. Resources come in, merge, go in from the top of our 2-stack, and this tower is facing that direction, so the way it's going in, and this one's facing out, and that's consistent all the way up on each side. It goes in from the top and then loops around the back like so. I don't think this is probably the most complicated idea in the world. I'm not sure I've seen much like it, although I haven't seen a ton of Satisfactory gameplay myself, so I can't tell you for sure. But it comes out the back, loops down these towers that we've built on the side, and they have to be the same exact spacing each time. It's about halfway past the ladder, one little smidge away from the tank, or the container. Anyways, it loops down into there, into that. The second row down loops around the back, and then it just repeats, down this way, boom, comes around, down this way, comes around, down to here, and then comes around again on the back, and then comes out here, right, forward into our system that I'll show you in just a moment. That's the main idea. That's kind of what our factory is built around, that core concept. Excuse me. And yeah, so our design principle really here has been compact. We've been trying to make our processes work using ladders and really tight spacing, like as tight as we can possibly make the spacing to make our designs as compact as possible. And I think we've done a really good job. This all looks like shit. This is still spread out and kind of just a problem. I think at one point, whenever we finish the content that is in this game at the moment, which we're 60 hours in and we haven't yet. I think we're getting close, but I'm not sure. Once we get finished with all the things we can do, we're going to scrap all of this, pull belts from our miners up, and extend the factory backwards and make it like a step 1 or step 0 rather than step 1, which is kind of what we've been labeling the first little area over there. That'll be basically housing all these storage tanks, but in the same method as we've got going over there, so that it's very uniform and satisfying to look at and deal with. But generally, yeah, that's so they're coming in. They pile through their belts. They doing their thing. They all converge here in kind of a messy fashion as well. We could have done it better. We were just kind of, prototyping ideas on how to make it work. But it splits off into a wall, like so. And this wall is the main. This is tier 1 resource. This goes up that way as well as this way. And that's horizontally perpendicular with the factory so that we can pull the 4... Well, I get to that later. Jesus. Anyways, we're coming in here. And the way it's designed is we have a wall of belts. And that just houses all of our tier 1 resources. I don't know if these aren't official tiers. These are just the way me and my friend Kevin are labeling things to keep it organized in our heads. Tier 1 belt goes all the way across, and that can go as far as we need it to, obviously with the belts working the way they do. Using really tight spacing, we've got 2 machines next to each other, an aisle of 2, and then 2 machines next to each other, and an aisle of 2, although I think we probably fudged it a little bit here. We're still trying to clean up Quadrant 1, because we biffed it. This would be the aisle, but we have another machine going there that we probably don't need. I could probably clear it out, but we'll get to that in a bit. The main gist of this, if I can show off, again, Quadrant 1 and the Tier 1 belt are still a work in progress simply because we didn't do it as well as we would have liked on the first go. We've perfected it, I think, as much as we can over here on Quadrant 2. It pulls off of the belt where it needs, and then using this dope goddamn laddering technique that Kevin came up with, we can lower it down uniformly into using perfect angles on every belt, lowering it down into whatever machine requires it for use. And then those, also split off and go into their own sets of towers, which are spaced exactly the same as the ones in Quadrant 1. The grid system that the developers grant you with these foundations is quite easy to use. This whole game is quite easy to play, quite easy to figure out, despite how complicated this might look at first. But yeah, so in the mentality of making things compact, I think Kevin knocked it out of the goddamn park with this laddering system, because this is as tight as you can get belts to go from one area to the next. Period. If you move the towers closer to each other, the belts can't descend. So this is, to my knowledge, as compact and I don't know if it's efficient really, but it's compact. So that's kind of, I guess, really our design philosophy. Compact as possible. Goes into these machines. These things suck ass. They're big, too big. They almost ruined the whole thing, but I flexed and managed to get things to work. It's a little funky through here, and that's going to be kind of frustrating to recreate later. I already had to do it once for this machine. Gets a little funky, but if anything, the angles on the belts stay consistent. Yeah, so that's how we're getting it down from the walls. And this wall is our Tier 2 wall, which is, pulling all of the materials from Quadrant 1. And the way those work is out of the bottom, like I said earlier, it goes in the top, comes out the bottom. We just ladder it up to its level on the Tier 2 belt, and then it horizontally travels all the way through. And that's, descending. This is the highest one we have, so it's coming at the very top. This one's a little lower. This one's just a bit lower, and so on and so forth. And that's how we create our Tier 2 belt, which connects with resources from our Tier 1 belt, the 4 that we need from Tier 1 to make machines here in Q2 to make the second wall, and that can be as high as we need it to. We really probably could have actually even brought all of them up, because it doesn't matter how high it goes, and that's a recent thing that I'll show off right now. Oh boy, what was I gonna show off? It was the thing Kevin came up with, right? So we were having a bit of a problem, and that was our pipe production over here was not going hard enough to meet the demands of the machines that use it, both here in Q1 and Q2, because I've got pipes here and they are getting looped out from the back. That's right. They're getting all the way from the top through the back, splits off. This one goes up to the tier 2 belt. This one splits back this way and goes into this machine, which we needed the pieces for. These are stators. We needed the pieces for these in order to make machines over in Q2, and we didn't want to extend it all the way to Q3 already, so we just looped it back on the end in order to get stators going, which I think are used for motors pretty much exclusively as far as I've seen so far. God. Right, so the design of our towers was modular. That's kind of why I designed it this way, was even though we only needed 5 back when we were working over in the first part of our adventure in this game, it's possible to just simply delete the belt that takes it over into the input and extend it up however high you want. I mean, you can extend it infinitely high and then just keep laddering the belts up. And this was Kevin's thing last night. Vertical expansion on single resources within each quadrant. I was gonna, in order to increase our pipe production, I was gonna build another goddamn constructor set like over here and then try to loop the belts in some funky, shitty way. But Kevin was like, nah, man, check this shit out. And he puts the foundations down and spaces it perfectly so you can get not just constructors but even these things. We haven't done it yet, which I guess sounds like bullshit, but I'll probably show it off at some point if I can upload this video and get that out there. If people end up liking the design, I'll probably upload again. But that can go across and you can build another one of these just on top of it in the same exact spacing. And then he also designed a genuinely fucking flawless ladder system to keep things infinitely going up however much we want. So okay, how do I begin to explain? It's such a labyrinth. I know how it works, but it's hard to explain it. These are coming out of here and converging here with a merger, which is going into this. This is the traditional. This is the ladder tower. I've already shown you guys enough. Anyways, it's coming up. And when it gets to here, I have to turn my flashlight on, hopefully this doesn't ruin the video, but when it gets to here, it merges again with our level 2, and this is doing this. It's just coming from here into this belt. This funnels into this belt, they merge, and then in order to make the angles work, you couldn't connect to the tower, you had to split, cut from this merger straight up to here, and then it just, I guess, magically fit the right angle in, and that continues up yet again for our level 3, which is also kind of, it has to alternate because of the way the belts are too close to do it the way I've done it over here, which I'll show you in a second if you can even still see what's going on. Yeah, so he did that yesterday. He went hard. I mean, that's his design, I think, is gorgeous. I couldn't make it more compact if I tried. It's really the bread to the butter I made with these towers. This laddering system of his is incredible, in my opinion. It might be hyping it up too much. I don't know. Anyways, it's a, oh shoot, I'm gonna say, well, anyways, it's the same system up this way. I had to mess the spacing up a little bit, but we're going to be making this the way it works on all of the different belts. It comes up, splits off into splitters, which then feeds the materials we need for these machines, splitting it, right, perfect angles on every single one of them into the machines, which then merge again, so on and so forth. It looks perfect. It looks perfect. So yeah, if you think this is good, I do at least. But if you think it's good, I guess smash that like button. Smash that like button. Let me know. The only thing is like I would make another video, I guess, once we get it Q0 going and get Q3 finished out. So I'm lazy. I don't know if I want to do that if nobody watched this in the first place or gave a shit about it at all anyway. So yeah, just give me a like, give me a comment saying good job, bro. You know how it is. Yeah. Anyways, that's Satisfactory. That's our design so far. thanks for watching.